What's good, y'all? It's JP, and today I'm going to show you how I go about processing my vocals. So let's get right into it. Boom, 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 boom. Step number 1, de-esser. All right. So this is the RDS from Waves. This is pretty much the first plugin that I'm going to use on my vocal chain after auto-tune. What this is going to do is mitigate some of those plosive sounds and sibilant sounds that come from sounds like P, P, or T's, T, or K's, K, and some of those sibilant sounds that come from S's and SH sounds and Z's like S or Sh or Z. So here, I'm going to start attacking the frequency. So I start out with 2000 frequency, just the lowest. I'll click this, which basically will just do this. It's essentially just focusing on the frequencies. And I'll just start to sweep and see what bothers me and what doesn't. So I'm going to start.
I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga, that's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is one nigga I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she'd be sober till I have it over, now she popping pills for real. Yeah, whatever they told you, know that I expose it to nigga. I'm real for real, yeah.
All right. And in terms of the threshold, this is just saying how hard it's attacking it. So if I put it at 0,
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga, that's for real, for real.
this line's doing nothing.
I get that call saying
As I
that
bring
is
it
one
down,
nigga I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she'd be sober till I have it over, now she popping pills for real. Yeah, whatever they told you, know that I expose it to nigga, I'm real for real. Yeah.
So it's just attacking it. I'm going to let it play
Risked
one
it
more
all
time.
just so I could ball, nigga, that's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is one nigga I'ma kill for.
And it's doing its job, just attenuating. It's subtle. This range essentially just says how hard it can attack it, essentially. So if I have it up here, that line's not going to do anything.
Risked it all just so I could
If I
ball,
start to bring
nigga,
it
that's
down,
for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is one nigga I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she'd be sober till I have it over, now she popping pills for real.
it says how far down it can go or how much it can attenuate at one time. The Waves manual starts up by saying you start at negative 22. So that's essentially what I usually go with. Shit. Step 2. All right, so step 2, as I was saying before I fell, I always started with EQ. So this is a pretty standard EQ. What an EQ essentially is doing is emphasizing and taking away certain frequencies. So vocals, you don't want a lot of the low end because it's going to start to cause muddiness, and that muddiness will over time clash with those bass frequencies. And a lot of the time you're going to want to boost some of those high frequencies. So I'm going to play it with this EQ that I have on right now and with it not on. So quick pass through.
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga, that's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is one nigga I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she'd be sober till I have it over, now she popping pills for real. Yeah, whatever they told you, know that I expose it to nigga, I'm real for real.
So as you can see, when it's bypass and not bypass, it just cleans up the vocals and makes it just more professional sounding. So muddiness, I always take out around 126 hertz just to start out with.
Yeah,
If I were to,
I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga, that's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is one nigga I'ma kill for real. Yeah.
just cleans it up. This is a dip that I use very often. It's just to cut out some of more of those like lower end frequencies that I still want to keep, but just attenuate a little bit. So
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could.
in defined frequencies that you want to keep or want to take away, you'll do something just called sweeping. So
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga, that's for real, for real. Yeah, I get.
so I don't like that, but it still has some of those frequencies that I want to keep in terms of like the low end, because I don't want to just take out the entire low end, because then it's not going to sound full anymore. So I'll take that negative 10 dB.
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga, that's for real, for real. Yeah.
Boosting this has some higher frequencies that I don't like. It's ear fatigue, and those frequencies are just gonna show up in the mix later, or when I'm mastering, it might just cause those frequencies over time that are just gonna pierce your ears over and over again. So I'm gonna go and decrease that right back to where it was. And for this,
I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga, that's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call.
so when you boost it, of course, it's not gonna sound good, but this presence, this high frequency, kind of mid presence, around like the C7 frequency, 2010 hertz. I want to boost it. I want to make it more present. So I'll just boost it by plus 3 dB, give or take. And then with this boost,
yeah, yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call
that's
saying.
just to bring more of the brightness and the presence into the vocal. And just kind of emphasize that part. Step 3, multiband compressor. All right, so for step 3, I'm using multiband compression. I do it very subtly. All I'm using this is to flatten out the frequency range before it hits the compressor and just cutting down that low end some more. So I'm going to let you listen.
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is one nigga I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she'd be sober till I have her overnight.
As you can see, it's not doing much. It's very simple, just slightly ducking down whenever the frequencies get too loud or too high and just flatten everything out. Boom. Step 4. SLL EV2 plugin from Waves once again. I'm using this as an additive EQ. I'm cutting down some of those lower frequencies once again, make sure they're just out the way. And I'm doing a cut at the higher frequencies. I'm also using this as a compressor. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a listen with what I have on it right now.
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is one nigga I'ma kill for real.
So I'm looking for these peaks. This is the compressor part of the plugin. I'm looking for these peaks to hit 3 and 6. I don't want it to hit 10, and I don't really want it to stay on 6 for very long. That's just doing the gain reduction. So it's just -3, -6 quick peaks. And those are just cutting those peaks down and essentially bringing the noise floor up and those high parts down to where the vocal is more even and level all the way across. So I'm gonna give it another play.
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is one nigga I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she'd be sober till I have her over. Now she popping pills for real. Yeah.
So right now it's at the perfect level. I keep the threshold at 18. This attack, how it comes, the release, how it comes. This high pass filter is essentially just an EQ cutting off like this, essentially. And that's about it for that. Just some high-end boost, slight boost. That's it. Step 5, compression. All right, so step 5, I'm using the CLA 76. It's a compressor, and I'm also using it for loudness, just to make the gain louder. So I'm going to start out by just cranking the input to nothing and leaving the output at -14. I'm going to keep it on a medium attack and a somewhat faster release time. All right. And as I'm going through the compressor, I'm looking to hit a max -5. So let's just go.
I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is one nigga I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she'd be sober till I have her over. Now she popping pills for real. Yeah, whatever they told you, know that I exposed to the nigga. I'm real for real. Yeah, 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 yeah. Got it right out of the mud for real.
So that's what I'm doing with compression. I use the Pro MB multi-band compressor, which is one compressor. Then I got this, which is compression and compression. The reason why I use all these different forms of compression is because I don't want to overuse one compression and overpump a compressor. I don't want one compressor to work too hard, so I split the job up into 3. The reason why I'm looking at no more than -5 is because if I overpump it, it starts to take away the life of the vocal. So it's going to get really loud here in a second. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah.
That sounds awful. Not as it only too loud, but it's just compressing it and just making it sound boxy. So this lets it, have that subtle compression and still be natural.
I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga.
So that's step 5. Boom. All right, so for step 6, I use a plugin called API 560. Essentially, all this is an EQ. That's it. More of a listening EQ than a looking EQ. And what I mean by that, this you will look, and this might trick your mind into boosting certain frequencies or taking out certain frequencies because you see the graph moving. So,
It all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real.
like, you might see this peak and be like, oh, I want to just take that out. But no. So this I use just so I can use my ears instead of my eyes.
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is war, nigga. I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said.
So right now it sounds a little harsh because of that compression and because of that gain staging. So or because of that gain from the compressor that made it louder. So I'm gonna go and unbypass it.
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is war, nigga. I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she'd be sober till I have her over. Now she popping pills for real. Yeah, whatever they told you, know that I exposed it, little nigga. I'm real for real. Yeah, 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 yeah.
When I'm using this plugin, I'm essentially just going up and down and just seeing what bothers me until I find exactly what I want to have it set at. For this, I'm mainly using it as a subtractive EQ, honestly. Cutting out the lower frequencies, doing minor, like less cuts. It just depends all by my ear and what I think sounds the best. Step 7, Aphex Vintage Exciter. All right, so the Aphex Vintage Exciter. This is a plugin I use a lot to just add some more brightness and color to the vocal. All it's essentially doing is adding some brightness, and that's it. So I keep it at 2 relatively just because I don't want it to do too much to the vocal. But I still want it to be there to just add that brightness. So I'm going to let it play real quick.
I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is war, nigga. I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she'd be sober till I have her over. Now she popping pills for real. Yeah, whatever.
So right now it's hitting perfectly. If I were to just crank the mix, I'll show you what happens.
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call
Not
saying
good.
that is war, nigga. I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she.
When I'm using this plugin, I'm wanting it to hit anywhere between -10 to +1. So right now it's at the perfect range for me, honestly. I don't do too much with this plugin. I usually just put it on, leave it at these settings, might adjust a little bit, but all in all, that's where I keep it at. Step 8, another de-esser. Alright, so for step 8, I'm adding another de-esser. It's the same de-esser. I'm attacking the exact same frequency. And usually I'll put the threshold and the range around the exact same level. All this is doing is taking out those sibilances or mitigating some of those sibilances and plosives that are brought up from the compressor and the gain staging and all the other plugins. So I'm going to let it play without it and with it.
I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is war, nigga. I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she'd be sober till I have her over. Now she.
As you can hear, all it does is just cleaning up the vocals, making more professional sounding. So that's all I do with that. The final step, step 9, limiter. All right, so for step 9, all I'm doing is bringing out this limiter. I'm going to play it with the limiter and without.
I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is war, nigga. I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she'd be sober till I have her over. Now she popping pills for real.
It's doing basically nothing. This is just ensuring that the vocals never go over -2 and making sure they never ever clip. That's it. That's basically my vocal chain. I also add reverb, and so I'll go ahead and put those on real quick. On this one, I didn't use parallel compression or flange or distortion effects, but I'll go and play it with all the effects on it.
Yeah, I risked it all just so I could ball, nigga. That's for real, for real. Yeah, I get that call saying that is war, nigga. I'ma kill for real. Yeah, she said she'd be sober till I have her over.
And one more time with the beat. And I'll play a different part of the song.
Then blood for real. She just fuck when I want, ain't no love for real. Police searching my crib, ain't no drugs in here. Don't just walk in my truck, we got guns in here. If I'm up in the building, the thugs in here. You pussy, you niggas ain't thugs for real. Pop a perk, put a 4, I'm off drugs for real. That's why hard, not pink, bitches purple. Yeah, I work hard, don't think I'm a worker. Police trying to chase me, run them in the circles. Bitch said she could take a girl, I'm finna hurt you. All these persons.
And that's it. That's how I process the main vocals. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been real. Peace out.